Like, oh, I'm fine. And a month later, you're walking up the stairs and the heart attack starts, you know. I mean, it's there, and it's sad. All right, I'm going to stop ranting. I want to go to phone calls. Ted, give people the gold specials of the day. Again, you buy it when it's low. When it's high, as it is, gold and silver, you sell it at the old low price. The radio specials are incredible loss leaders. Briefly, give people the gold and silver specials. I hope they take advantage of it, because I know you're a busy man to get a hold of, Ted, but I need to get a hold of you, because it's time for me to get some gold and silver. I've got to do it. I can't even leave emergency money in the account to run this place. It can't even be trusted now. Ted?
Well, first of all, gold did run up to $17.52.10. Right now, it's currently at $30.30. So it knows, the market knows, that the dollar is going to take a hit. It's reflecting that. Silver at $33.05 today, up 92 cents. The things to be getting into right now are like the Walking Liberty Half at $16.01, the Franc coin at $3.81, and get the full-year subscription to Bob's newsletter, The International Forecaster. And for God's sakes, understand economics. Get that book and that video, and those $2 silver for $73.
Yeah, Ted, it's $3 silver, the book and the video, and you're almost out of the Big Brother book, and then we're going to ship to some other special. So if folks want the $3 silver and the free book, video, and shipping, they need to call right now, 800-686-2237. You, again, can get the Franc at cost and then get a free subscription, $159 value, the International Forecaster as well, 800-686-2237. Tell folks about some of the other coin specials you've got, Ted.
Well, I mean, obviously, one of the better coins to be getting into is the U.S. Eagle. It's at $1,908.29. I have a few of those Proof Campaign for Liberty still. Want to help Ron Paul a little bit, $523.73. Makes an awful lot of sense. For those of you who don't have a whole lot of money, consider the copper coins I have up on the website now at $293. For a bag of 250. The Lakota silvers at 41.27. I think the bags of survival dimes at 2,495. That's 1,000 dimes. You realize it takes 24 dimes to buy one new to buy one of the old. That's the equation right now. If you want to transfer one to the other, that's going to widen. It's just simply this. Gold and silver is a reflection of what really is happening in the economy. And as the Fed steps in and turns on their printing press to do all this bailout, you're going to see gold and silver rise. And it's just the way it is.
Absolutely. Ted, 800-686-2237. And we've got Stuart Rhodes on tonight about the indefinite detention, torture, and the rest of it on the Nightly News. But I want to get you on, so I'll talk to you after the show, okay?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, thank you. There goes Ted Anderson, InfoWars Nightly News, 7 o'clock Central tonight. I want to go to your calls. So I'll have to do a bit of overdrive. I'm going to come back and go to your calls here in the next segment. I see these articles all the time where another foreclosure fraud whistleblower found dead, MSNBC. And it says a notary public who signed tens of thousands of false documents at a massive foreclosure scam before blowing the whistle on the scandal has been found dead in her Las Vegas home. She was scheduled to be sentenced Monday morning, and she pled guilty last month to notarizing the signature of an individual not in her presence. She failed to show up for a hearing, but police found her dead at the home later. And they can't, of course, determine what happened, but they've killed so many Pentagon investigators. Look, the green light's been given for criminals to run wild in America, as long as it's under mafia dons, government and corporate mafia dons. And it's just open season with the gullible public. I feel so sorry for them. They've been taught for 60 years in this country, any criticism of government, not loving and trusting government, is a conspiracy theory. Of course, it's pure Americana, pure George Washington, to not trust government, to keep government small. Now, they're starting to wake up, but they're still very childlike. I mean, I hear people on talk radio. I talk to them in the streets, and they are so childlike. They're friendly, they're sweet, they're goofy. They have no idea. In this country used to be hardcore, rugged individualist on average. People didn't care about what happened. If you messed with them, they'd come after you. I mean, I've read the old letters and family Bibles and stuff of my ancestors on both sides. I mean, and they were just standard people. And they weren't going around looking for trouble either. They were church attending, hardworking people. But you mess with them, they'd kill you so fast it'd make your head spin. You cheated them out of a nickel, you're going to get your head beat in. And we now are just a country that just takes everything. People always make fun of folks in the South and the West for being so polite. People are polite because if you weren't polite, you'd end up dead. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Okay, I recognize a name, Law from Colorado. And I met him. He's a big old giant guy who I got Luke Rudowski got up on his shoulders when the MSNBC cut my bullhorn cord when I was out in public. So you can see that as what the extra in the Obama deception. It's also online. Just type in MSNBC attacks Alex Jones. And I heard he's got some breaking news because they actually separately emailed Dew, and Dew just came in here and told me, hey, they say they're on hold, and they've got some breaking news. I guess it's of a Syracuse type or a Satanic Valley type with Penn State. Law, good to hear from you. What's the information?
How you doing, Alex? Great to hear you. Wow, this is some pretty amazing information. I don't know if you've heard about the Arapahoe County Sheriff, Pat Sullivan, was arrested yesterday, involved in this methamphetamine and child sex ring. John Elenoff, who I know you know, actually is the guy who broke this thing. He's been spending several weeks working on this. He's been like hiding for his life and stuff because this is really serious.
No, I know Elenoff well. I've hung out with him and others, and of course you there in Colorado a few times. Great activist there, and we were there covering the DNC in 2008. We were there. This is in the news. Another nest of these people.
Yeah, this is really kind of amazing stuff. There have been several arrests. The news is not really coming clear on who it is, but
they generally arrest to cover up the full network. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, I can definitely tell you this is a large ring. It definitely involves more than just this sheriff's department. There are several police departments, sheriff departments. I could probably go as far as to say, Alex, this may involve the CIA, the FBI, the military. It's kind of conspiracy of silence stuff all over again.
Well, DynCorp is the biggest CPS contractor, grabbing kids nationwide, and they run public slave rings worldwide. I mean, it's just unbelievable how evil these people are. So I type in Arapahoe County, Colorado?
Yeah, you probably could. The guy's name was Pat Sullivan, and he's like a really honored sheriff. This guy has this like stellar record, and this guy is definitely involved in this major stuff. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I've just been given a news article. There's so many pedophile rings, how to keep track of it. Now, I know you say you guys were involved in investigating this. A lot of times they also sting good people and set them up for this, but I'm not saying that's not the... I mean, you guys are the ones on the ground. Former Arapahoe sheriff arrested on meth dealing charge. And are you saying it's in the news here about the kids?
They're not talking about, like, underage kids. They're kind of playing it off as, like, he was trading methamphetamines for sex. But
oh, yeah, that's what it says. It says, yeah, former Arapahoe County Sheriff Patrick Sullivan was arrested on suspicion of trying to trade drugs to a man for sex as investigators monitored the deal. Yeah, and that's how they'll do it. We've seen that with the Boys Town and all that. They'll bust one person to cover it up. And then kind of minimize what's going on. But you're saying Elenoff was the one who actually got this going?
Elenoff was the guy behind the whole deal. He spent several weeks working on this. He was lucky enough to have started working for Tom Martino at a KHOW radio, and Tom Martino had the guts to actually help him out and get this thing on the radio. They did an interview today. The information is really amazing.
No, I've been in Tom's studio, but I need to get Martino on then about this if Elenoff's in hiding. Says this shows that no one is above the law, but you're saying Elenoff is saying from his research it's much bigger.
Much bigger. The things we know, I mean, there's no doubt about it. How big it is, we're not necessarily sure, but, this kind of goes back to something you had said a few episodes ago.
We're going into overdrive. Stay there for the main radio audience. See you tomorrow and back tonight. Okay, look, I want to get to all the other callers.
From deep in the heart of FEMA Region 6, Austin, Texas,
right.
Transmitting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
All right, finishing up with Law in Colorado. You were saying something as we went to break. Law, go ahead.
Yeah, this reminds me of something you had mentioned, I don't know, a few weeks past. about how these NWO guys will, sacrifice some of their own people in order to make the rest of their people kind of toe the line because something big may be coming down. And I really suspect that may be what's going on.
Yeah, no, they will bust a bunch of these rings and people to scare the rest of them and say, see what we can do? I mean, that's who the globalists want. They want someone who can be compromised. They want you to become corrupt. It's like Serpico. They kept trying to get him to take jewelry and stuff. Come on, just make us feel good. Be part of it with us.
Exactly. I mean, this may be a big thing. I'm not sure how far it goes. You may want to try and get John on your show. I mean, he's just up to his eyeballs in this stuff. And like I say, he's been hiding out for his life. He's been threatened with guns. He's had all kinds of stuff. And, I mean, this guy's a trooper. He kept on sticking with it. And really, this is really amazing stuff.
Well, it's saying informants were involved and stuff because the deputies were in a police call and then they saw the sheriff there and thought it was weird, and that started the investigation. You're saying that's not what happened, that Elenoff was involved?
Yeah, definitely. Elenoff really brought this whole thing forward. I mean, he's the main guy that really made this stuff happen. So, I mean, that guy is a truther through and through, man.
All right, well, we'll have to talk to him. I had your number before, Law, but let me put you on hold, make sure I have that. Thank you, and then we'll try to get a hold of him. Thank you, just amazing information. Let's go ahead and jam in some more here. Glenn in Canada, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing, Alex? Thanks very much for taking my call.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm a former math, physics, and calculus teacher, and when I was young, I was told that history was written by the victors, so I chose not to study any history, thinking that it might be skewed, but you opened up my eyes to history within the last 2 years, and I started trying to teach people what you taught me, and people would place me in a category of being a ranter.
Oh, no, pretty soon if you know how to tie your shoelaces, you're a conspiracy theorist thought criminal.
Yeah, well, up in politically correct Canada, which is the politically correct capital of the universe, I think, anything that's not status quo, you're called a ranter, and that's a very bad thing. But something, an antidote that I got that I just wanted to share with you because it might help you, and you may have heard of it because you're so well studied. But it's a quote by Jiddu Krishnamurti. Did you ever hear of him?
I've heard the name, yes.
Yeah, it says, "It is no measure of health to be well-adjusted to a profoundly sick society."
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's just a thin, cliched stereotype to say, hey, I don't trust the government that's been caught lying thousands of times. They're like, how ridiculous, you're crazy. Oh, I mean, it's a joke. And I'm personally... those people don't even matter. Just move on to those that do. I mean, people kind of get insulted when some soulless, pathetic, jabberwocky minion of the New World Order giggles at you through their mind control. I mean, I would feel sorry and move on. That's a casualty. I appreciate your call. Let's just give this person 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and talk to Nick in California. You got the final word on KOMY 1340. Go ahead.
6 times. Hey, 15 miles from me is a town called San Juan Bautista. It's run by a sheriff from Texas, and under his nose there were under more than 50 meth lab houses. And this town is probably 1,500. It's a little mission town where the very devastating to the native sense. So the guy who led Obama out onto the stage to be sworn in is more the person behind the corruption as far as preventing the...
And who let him out? I forget. Who let him out? I forget.